Julie Hartley-Brewer won't be here at 10 o'clock, but we're delighted to say that she's taken some time for us today because she's got a column in The Sun, as she does every single Friday, on page 12 today. Julie Hartley-Brewer talking sense to the nation. She is, of course, here Monday to Thursday every single day from 10. Delighted to say a very good morning. And to Julie, a very good morning to you. How nice to see you on a Friday.
And also, by the way, this is like the most we ever get to chat because we get about 3 minutes at the beginning of the end of your show, beginning of mine.
Absolutely.
Hello,
yes, very good to see you. Now, I won't keep you long because I know you've got lots of things to be getting on with. But look,
go back to bed.
Massive story yesterday in The Sun about this ghastly individual, Jake Fahri, whose rapper name is now 10, kills and murders young Jimmy Mizen, who was a lovely young boy who had nothing but good things going for him, murdered for absolutely no reason in 2008. This guy has been promoted by the BBC. It now turns out today from the story in the Times that basically he may have breached his parole conditions and he may have to now be recalled. But the BBC still kind of aren't apologising. They're not saying anything about it, really, are they?
No. It is just extraordinary. Well, the piece I've written for The Sun today, I say I write a weekly column for them every Friday, is just the BBC just once again, lovable Auntie Beeb. Oh, don't misgender anyone. Oh, don't be a climate denier. Oh, don't be Graham Linehan and be one of our greatest comedy writers and refuse to accept the pretense that trans women are actually women. Oh, no, then you're beyond the pale. Don't, for instance, have a song that's mocking Keir Starmer over the winter fuel payment.
God, no.
No, that we're not going to play that. Oh, but, if you murdered a 16-year-old boy in cold blood in a bakery in 2008 and you're out and you're rapping about it and you're rapping with lyrics where you're basically glorifying the crime that you committed that took a young life, not a problem at all. I genuinely believe the BBC has lost all of its moral compass if it ever had one. I think they are seriously so morally depraved and hypocritical now. We cannot ignore it anymore.
No, I don't think we can. And you're absolutely right. I mean, let's not forget, they also banned Baby It's Cold Outside because they thought it might be a bit like men controlling women. And you're kind of going, yeah, but this guy's talking about slashing people, stabbing people. He even refers to the specific crime that he committed. And apparently the people who run Radio 1 Extra think it's really daring and interesting. And it's really,
and he's a great young talent.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest with you, I thought the lyrics were actually very clever, very well written. It's when you realise that they are about a killing he himself committed and you realise the effect on the family. Now, look, you and I are free speech advocates.
Yes.
I'm not calling for this to be banned. I'm no Mary Whitehouse. I'm not saying, it was a bit of nipple, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just wondering why the BBC thinks it's okay to promote this man, but they censor and sort of unperson and deplatform so many other people. And there are question marks about the fact that, he's trying to profit from his crimes. Well, you're not allowed to do that.
Right.
Look, I would rather he was singing about stabbing than he was actually stabbing. But the reality is, 1.4 million pounds of our taxpayers' money was given to the Met in the last year alone so that they could actually monitor what stuff is going on YouTube from these drill rappers. These are linked with actual crimes.
Yes.
Dozens and dozens and dozens of actual stabbings and even murders are linked to these drill rappers and these sort of gang, sort of you dissed me in your rap, you dissed me. This isn't some sort of esoteric, well, if we see Elvis Presley's hips gyrate in 1957 on the US telly, will it degenerate an entire bunch of women? No, we are talking about actual crimes being celebrated and being basically threatened in this music. I think we need to talk about it.
I think we absolutely do. And, it's one thing to have the music out there, as you say, you don't want to have it banned necessarily, but it's another thing for it to be actively promoted by the organisation, which is funded by taxpayers, which is, as you say, completely hypocritical. But also the interesting development, as I say today, is that Jimmy Mizen's mother has been speaking to The Sun, and she's basically saying that looking at the video that he's made while he's singing this song, it looks as though he's not far away from the O2, which is in the borough of Greenwich, where he supposedly, according to his parole conditions, not allowed to go. So he may now have to be recalled to prison, which would be a sort of suitable punishment for him, I think.
Well, yeah, it's not very complicated. You're not allowed in one borough where the family of the boy you murdered. You also, you'd been bullied and beaten up. Jimmy's brother Harry as well.
Yeah.
That was where he was there at the scene when Jimmy was stabbed with the stabbed, hit, smashed in the face with a glass bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not an unreasonable condition, is it? But again, the key thing is this man was let out. He had a life term, minimum 14 years. He served that, yeah. But he's clearly showing no remorse. He's clearly still a danger. He had had a long history of very, very brutal violence. There was a rape charge at one point, beating up a girl he actually got convicted of. So he was a nasty little piece of work. He was a wrong 'un then. I think he's probably a wrong 'un now. But yeah, don't worry, he's out on our streets, being celebrated by the BBC. Well done, everyone.
I know, and apparently, supposedly locked away for life in 2008. And I know that he was only 19 when he was locked away for life. But I mean, what's the point of calling it locked away for life if it isn't locked away for life?
I know. And also, again, people say, well, he's served his term, he's paid his debt to society. If it was your child, if it was my child lying on that morgue slab, or who I had to run to the bakery to find them bleeding to death on the floor, would 14 years feel enough to us? I doubt it.
I very much doubt it. Yeah, just one other thing before we let you go. You've also written about Tulip Siddiq and that row that forced Keir Starmer to lose the third most interesting and powerful woman from his government in the first 6 months of it. I'm beginning to wonder whether he's got some kind of a curse on him, Keir Starmer. You know, he went to Ukraine, suddenly found £4.5 billion in his back pocket to give to them for the next, partnership detail for 100 years. But I'm wondering, and I don't know what you think about this, whether Lord Hermer KC might be the next faller in the government. He's the Attorney General. It turns out he's made 30,000 quid from Jerry Adams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all of Keir Starmer's, little mates are all joining in, honestly, in the fun, aren't they? And they're all involved. This is the thing. I mean, that's why Tulip Siddiq lasted as long as she did. I think it was about 27 days. Yeah. The Prime Minister stood by her as a junior Treasury Minister. Well, it's because she's his mate. In North London, they go to the same dinner parties, don't they? They're in the same gang. I mean, this is the. I mean, I don't know about you, Mike. I mean, it's easy. What happened to Tulip, though, Tulip Siddiq, could have happened to anyone, because which of us can honestly put our hand on our heart and say that when we were given a £700,000 flat in King's Cross in our early 20s when we were a student, that we weren't sure who it was from? Was it from mum and dad, or was it from someone who'd been funding our dodgy aunt who was Prime Minister of Bangladesh? It could have happened to any of us.
Exactly.
And I think we should be more sympathetic.
Yes, absolutely right. And I mean, of course, she will still. And also, I mean, the other story today is that MP up in Cheshire who was pleading guilty to assault yesterday apparently might not lose his job. So they're not the full force of the law for him then, because apparently he might get a sentence which means he can stay on as an MP.
He might get a sentence that he can stay on for MP, but there was, I mean, the punch in the face was pretty darn obvious. You could all see it. There's going to be a recall. I just don't think for a moment. The people of Runcorn are going to put up with that. It's just completely and utterly untenable. He's already lost the Labour whip. That was nice of them, wasn't it? I mean, I just don't see this carrying on. The pressure will be on him. But again, going to lose your salary. I know what, Keir Starmer. Why don't you just bump him up to the laws? That'll solve the problem.
Exactly right. Great to see you. Have a wonderful weekend. Julie Hartley-Brewer, thank you very much. Back on Monday at 10 o'clock. Don't forget to read her column every single Friday in The Sun. It's a hoot, an absolute hoot.